We've got Congressman Michael Waltz with us now, the Florida Republican, sits on the House Armed Services Committee, himself a former Green Beret who served this country very honorably in Afghanistan. Congressman, what do you think of this idea that we stick to the August 31st deadline, essentially guaranteeing that not everyone who wants out is going to get out? Forget about the tens of thousands. Some put it up to over 200,000 Afghan nationals who want out. Even the 1,000 or so Americans still there.
Yeah, Neil, we have thousands of Americans that are now trapped behind terrorist lines, and we have tens of thousands at least of our Afghan allies. Biden has us because he started this evacuation so late. Keep in mind, myself and others in Congress were demanding that he start back in April. They didn't even put a task force together until June to even begin getting started. So now he has us in a no-win situation. Either we stay and continue to take casualties, or we go and we leave thousands of Americans to what I think will be one of the largest hostage situations, mass hostage crisis that we've faced since 1979. What we need now is bold, decisive leadership. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get it, but here's what I would recommend we do. Number one, you tell the Taliban the mission's not over until we get every American out. And if you get in our way, we will kill you. Number two, HKIA, the Kabul International Airport, is not defendable. We cannot continue to take these types of casualties. And if we're committed to getting every American out, that's untenable. We have to retake Bagram. I was just briefed yesterday that that is a contingency the military is prepared for. It just takes leadership from this White House. And then thirdly, we have special operators there as we speak that are raring to go to get into Kabul and even outside of Kabul to go get our Americans. But their hands are being tied by this White House. Authorize them to go do what they're trained and there to do, and that's go rescue our fellow citizens. Get as many Afghans as we can out. But there are also sanctuaries, pockets of resistance that the Taliban have not taken just north of Kabul. I've spoken to that leadership, and we can create that sanctuary for those Afghans and those at-risk Afghans that we can't get out. They're ready to accept and they're ready to defend. Those alone, any of those steps, will make this situation far better. But unfortunately, I think what you're about to hear from the president is he's going to put his foot on the gas. And he's going to use this as proof of why his deadline makes sense. And he's going to leave Americans behind, Neil. And that is un-American. It's a tragedy. And he's letting terrorists dictate the terms.
So I wonder, Congressman, when the president does address the nation and we've got this limited time horizon, we do know that some flights have resumed to get out of there, but not nearly at the pace or the number that we were seeing. Close to 100,000 have been evacuated from the country since the Taliban took over. But I would imagine it could potentially slow to a trickle now, and many won't get out. And that this extension, if it doesn't come to pass, will mean we left a good number of people back, including maybe potentially a number of Americans, many of them we still can't track down. What do you think of that?
No, Neil, look, let me be clear. We've received a number of briefings on this. We cannot, in this self-imposed, by the way, this deadline is completely made up. This is somewhere came out of Biden's mind. And I verified that yesterday, asking a number of officials in a private briefing. This is a self-imposed deadline. There is no way to get the thousands of Americans out, especially now with this attack, that we have to get out. What does that mean? That means going forward on September 1, essentially, their plan is to trust the Taliban to continue to let Americans go. And the Afghans that have worked with us against them for years, that we know they're already hunting down as we speak. That is, it is a tragedy. It's inhumane, and it runs directly counter to our national security. Because here's the other problem: his own intelligence community has repeatedly briefed us that Al-Qaeda fully intends to come roaring back. It will spread like a cancer. What happens in Afghanistan doesn't stay there. They intend to hit the West again. So are we going to wait until we have another Pulse nightclub or San Bernardino or, God forbid, another 9/11? And those future soldiers that will have to go back and deal with this new Al-Qaeda are going to have to do so with no bases, no local allies because they've been hunted down, and a terrorist army that's armed to the teeth with billions of dollars of our own equipment. I mean, this is incompetent, and it's outrageous at historic levels, not to mention the credibility around the world that we're losing, the confidence of our other allies. The list just goes on and on and on of why this is such a disaster. But I think he's going to stick to it. He's not listening to the intelligence community. He's not listening to the Pentagon. My fellow lawmakers, Democrats, and veterans tried to call him last night after receiving these briefings. I don't know if it's cluelessness or heartlessness or incompetence or all of the above.
All right. It is just bizarre as the hours go on. Congressman Michael Waltz, thank you very much. And more, sir, for obviously your incredible service.